Hi there, I'm Eitan, and welcome back to the Wix Wiz. This is the first video in a new and updated series about Wix media galleries. In this video, I'll be showing you how to add new media galleries to your Wix website, as well as connect them to data with no code. We'll also be showing how to add dynamic pages and link between a gallery on your homepage to various dynamic pages, and finally, how to allow users to upload new images to the media gallery. So if you want to see all that and more, let's get started. Okay, so let's start off by adding a gallery element to our Wix website. And we're going to do that up over here by the plus button, Add Elements. And here you can see that we have the option Gallery. And on the side here, we have several different kinds of galleries that we can add. And they all follow the same principle of displaying images in different ways, and they can all also be connected to data. But once we get into the coding aspect, we'll see that there are some small nuances between these different kinds of galleries. For now, I'm just going to start off with one of these pro galleries and show the basics of adding this to your site, adding in images, and how to connect it to data. So let's go ahead and add it to the site. And there we go, our gallery has been added, and it comes with a bunch of default images that Wix provides. And if we want to change these images in the gallery, we can just go over here to Manage Media and click that, and then it will open up this Media Manager where we can either remove images. So for example, if I want to remove this image, I can just click here, Remove, and that image will be gone. And we can also add in media by clicking this button up over here. So we're just going to add in media, and we can add in images, videos, etc. If I click in image, then it will open up the Wix Media Manager, and I can either upload my own media up here, or I can go down here and choose some media from Wix and just add it into the gallery. Okay, so this is the basic usage of a gallery, but at the moment this gallery is completely static and the images within the gallery are managed using the editor. So I'm directly going into a specific gallery on my site using the editor, and I'm either adding or removing images from it. In many cases, if I want to even dare say most, you will actually want to connect this gallery to data from a data collection and manage all of your data from there. So let's create a collection and show two different ways that we can connect data from a collection to a gallery on your Wix website. So in order to add a data collection to your site, you're going to want to go over here on the bottom to CMS, give that a click, and then click over here, Add to Site. Now the CMS is being added to my site, and once that's done, I can create collections in order to organize my data. Each one of these collections is essentially, you can think of it as like an Excel spreadsheet with different information in it, but just more advanced capabilities of managing different data types. So I'm going to go over here into my collections, and I'm going to click right over here in order to create a new collection. I'm going to call this media. Okay, you can call your collection whatever you want, and my collection is going to have multiple items. I'm going to go ahead and click Create. And here is my collection. This is where I can manage the data, and I can access this both from the editor and from my Wix dashboard. So I'm going to go ahead and add another field here. And the field that I'm going to be adding here is a media gallery field. So you can see over here, I have the option to add a media gallery. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and click Choose Field Type. And I'm just going to leave this field name as Media Gallery and click Save. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some media into this media gallery. So let me go here and click Add Media. And let's add in a few pictures from Wix. So media from Wix. So I'm going to add in, let's say this one. Let's just add in all of these images. So I'm going to go ahead and add to item. And now essentially this kind of looks like what we had inside of the editor, but it's inside of a collection. So I can go ahead and click Save. And now I can connect between this specific item and my media gallery. So let's go ahead and go to our site. And in order to connect between the collection and the Wix gallery, I'm going to need to use something called a dataset. And this dataset can also be added through this CMS area over here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a content element here on the bottom. And once I click on that, I will have the option to add in a dataset. And this dataset here is added to the page. And this is something that you're only going to see in the editor. So datasets are only visible in the editor, and they serve essentially as a bridge between a data collection and an element or elements inside of the Wix editor. And in order to get this set up, so we're going to go ahead here and click on Settings. And once I click on Settings, then I will have the option to choose the collection that this is going to connect to. So I'm going to choose the media collection that we just created. And currently we're having this dataset mode be read, which means it will display items from the collection, but not change items in the collection. If you want, you can also add a filter to filter it so it only displays the specific items that you want. Currently, because we only have one item inside of our collection, it's going to display that item. But if we had multiple items in the collection, it would display initially the data from the top item, assuming we connected it to a single Wix element. So now I'm going to show you how to connect this to the Wix element. So I'm going to go over here and click on the element we want to connect. And then you can see right over here, we have this kind of squiggly snake with two dots, connect to CMS. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then you'll see the option to connect to a data set. So I'm going to go ahead and select the data set that we want to connect to. And here I can either connect it to the data set itself, or I can connect it to a media gallery field within a specific data set. And that's currently the thing that we set up now. So if I go ahead and I click Media Gallery, then you can see here now that this media gallery is showing the items from, the images that were inside the gallery that I put in my collection. And if I was to go back to my collection now and make certain changes to that gallery field, then those changes would be reflected here inside of the gallery. And I'm going to talk a little later on about a use case for something like this, but typically if we have multiple items in the collection, we're going to want to exercise a different method of connecting the items to the media gallery. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. So let's go and click on the CMS, and we're going to go back and open up our media collection. And this time, instead of using a media gallery, I'm going to go ahead and click here, Add Field, and I'm going to add in a regular image field. So let's go ahead and choose that field type, and I'm just going to give it the name image. And here I'm going to select an image for this item. So let me just go to media from Wix, and let me just choose a random image. And now I'm going to add two more items to my collection. And for each of them, I'm also going to add an image. So let me go over here to media from Wix. And I'm going to go and select, let's say, this image. And here I'm also going to select another image. Awesome. So now we have three different items with three different images. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect this entire collection to our gallery so that these three images are displayed in the gallery. So I'm going to go over here and close my collection. And here I'm going to click again on our squiggly snake, which is now green because it's currently connected to the data set. And I'm just going to change the connection. And instead of connecting it to the media gallery field within the media dataset, I'm going to connect it to the media dataset itself. And now I can select what the image source connects to. So this is going to be image. And now you should be able to see that it's showing three images, one from each one of our items. Okay, so this is a slightly more typical setup for a gallery, an independent gallery on a single page on Wix. But there are also situations where you might want to show completely different galleries on completely different pages, and that is if you have something called dynamic pages. I have another tutorial that explains all about dynamic pages, so I'm going to assume some basic knowledge of it here in this tutorial. But basically, dynamic pages are pages that are a template, and they're populated with different data from a data collection. So let me go, for example, and set up a dynamic page. So let's go over here to dynamic pages, and we can click here, add dynamic page. We also have the option of generating dynamic pages directly from the collection that we just created. So I'm going to go over here to the CMS, to my collections, and then here you'll see that there's 3 dots here on the side. And if I click that, then we have the option here to add dynamic page. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then we can select if we want a list page, an item page, or a blank page. A list page is basically a list of all the items in that collection, and an item page is essentially a template which reflects an individual item from that collection. So I'm going to go ahead and click Item Page, and I'm going to add it to my site. It's being added in. Awesome. And you can see here that we have some basic elements that kind of Wix threw in here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those. And instead, I'm going to add in a gallery element. So I'm going to go here and add in a gallery. And I'm going to connect this gallery, again, using our squiggly snake, to this media item data set that comes automatically on each dynamic page. And I'm just going to click connect here. And here you see again that I have that selection between media item and media gallery. And here I'm going to connect to the media gallery. And now I'm going to go into our collection and make some final changes before we can see the dynamic page working. So let me head back into our collection. And first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add media galleries to the new items that we added, because currently they don't have any media. So let me just click here and click Add Media. And I'm just going to select again some random media from Wix. Let's add these 3 images in and click Save. And I'm going to add to this item as well, media from Wix, and let's go ahead and save that. Awesome. So now we've added media galleries. In addition, we're going to need to add titles to each item so that Wix can generate a URL for each of our dynamic pages. So I'm just going to call this one item 1, and this one item 2, and this one item 3. And now you can see that Wix has generated these dynamic URLs for each of our individual pages. So let me go ahead and close our collection now. And now you can see here that on the page item 1, we're seeing the gallery from item 1. And if I switch to item 2, this is something that we only have here inside of the editor in order to see how our different dynamic pages look inside of the editor. So now I can see the gallery from item 2, and if I switch to item 3, then I can see the gallery from item 3. So now that we've demonstrated the 2 ways that we can connect our data collection to a media gallery, I'm going to show you how we can transform a media gallery into a navigation menu for our dynamic pages. So first of all, here I am on our home page, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this down a little bit, and I'm going to add a text title that'll just say home, just so that we can distinguish which page we're on. So this is going to be our home page. And now in order to connect this gallery on our home page to the individual dynamic pages, I'm going to click on the gallery. I'm going to click on this Connect to CMS button. and I'm going to determine where the navigation should go to. So that's right over here all the way on the bottom. Link connects to, and I can select from my collection, I can select a dynamic page. Okay, so you see here it says media item. Essentially, that is the dynamic page that corresponds to this individual image. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And now essentially I have turned this Wix gallery into a menu which can navigate to different pages. In order to clarify this even further, I'm going to go to my dynamic page and I'm going to add a few more details here just to make this a little more visually clear. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a title. So let me add in a title, and this title is going to be connected to our data set. So I'm going to click on this title. I'm going to click connect to CMS. And then here I can select, let me move this to the other side. I can select that I want this to be linked to the title. So essentially now you should see here item 1 as soon as this refreshes. But this essentially is connected to our title, which should display item 1. And I'm also going to display the cover image from this page. So I'm going to add in an image here. And I'm going to just add in a random image. And I'm going to connect this image to the image value for our page. And let me go ahead and make this a little smaller. And I'm put that right over there. Obviously, I'm not focusing very much on design. And now let me just switch between the several different items here. So here we have item 2, and this is our cover image, and this is the gallery with the images from inside the gallery. And the same goes here for item 1, and then the same is true here for item 3. So now that we've set up our home page and the individual dynamic pages, let me go ahead and publish our website. And let's view the live site. So here we have our home page with our gallery. And now if I click on one of these images, it is expanding the image and showing it larger. But that's not what I want to happen. I want to navigate to a specific page when I click on the image. So in order to facilitate that, what I'll need to do is on my home page, I will need to select the gallery, go into the gallery settings over here, and I'll need to select what the action is for the click. So I'm going to go here into settings, and then when clicking on an item, instead of open and expand mode, I'm going to select a link opens. And I'm going to go ahead and close that and republish my website. Now, if I go ahead and refresh, let me close this image, go ahead and refresh my site. If I click on one of these images, it will navigate to the corresponding dynamic page. So you see I clicked on item 1, and now I see item 1 and all the data that corresponds to that item. If I go and I click item 2, the same will happen for item 2. So just to recap, essentially on my home page, I have a gallery that's connected to the image field from each of the items, and on my individual dynamic pages, I have a gallery that's connected to the media gallery field for the specific item. The last thing that I want to show you is how to allow users to upload new images to each kind of gallery. So let's start off with the gallery that we have on the home page, which again represents individual items inside of our collection. So in order to allow people to upload to this gallery, what we're going to need to do is essentially allow people to upload new items to our collection. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is to double check that your collection has the correct permissions. So let's hop into our collection and go into permissions and privacy. And here we can see that anyone can view content, but only an admin can do all the other operations on our collection. And for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to make sure that that anyone can add content to our collection. That's going to be necessary for this first demonstration. And I'm also going to make sure that anyone can update content because that's going to be necessary for the second part of the demonstration. Obviously, you're going to want to put in the controls that you need for your site. So if only admins can upload to galleries or to this collection, then you're going to want this to be admin, and the same goes for site member. If you want more complex permissions, you're going to need to handle that through backend code. So I'm going to go ahead and save these changes that I made. And I'm going to add in a few more elements here to facilitate the upload of an image. So I'm going to go and add in an input. And this input is going to be in order to create a new title for this item. Because remember, each item in our collection has a title, and I want to create a new one for this new item that I'm adding into the collection. And I'm also going to add an upload button. So that will also be under inputs. And here inside of advanced, we have upload buttons. And I'm just going to choose one of these buttons, not focusing very much on design at the moment. And the final thing that I'm going to add in is a submit button. So that's also going to be here under buttons, and I'm going to add a submit button. Let me just change the text and icon here, and I'm going to change it to be submit. Awesome. Now what we need to do is we need to connect each of these things to a data set, but I want to change it to be a write data set. So at the moment we have a data set here. If I go into the settings, then we can see that this is a read data set. But in order to add stuff to the collection, we need it to be a write data set or a read and write data set. So I personally like to separate between different responsibilities. So this data set is currently responsible for displaying things inside of our gallery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another data set which is strictly responsible for uploading the new image to the collection. So let me go over here to CMS and add content elements. And I'm going to add in a new data set. And this data set is going to be connected to the same collection. So let me go ahead and choose media. And this is going to be media. I'm just going to rename it to be media write. And I'm going to change the dataset mode to write. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to link each of these individual elements to our new dataset. So let me go ahead and select this right over here. And I'm going to connect it to the media write dataset. And the value is going to connect to title. Then I'm going to connect this upload button. So I'm going to connect it to CMS, connect to media write, and I'm going to connect it to this image field. Next thing I'm going to do is connect this submit button. So let's connect to CMS and connect to media write. And then here for the click action connects to, I'm going to select submit. Awesome. We could also, if we want, add a success message, and that is something that will show if our submission is successful. We can also add a failure message, which is what will show if for some reason this submission fails. Awesome. So that should be enough in order to upload a new item to our collection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and publish. I'm going to head to the live site, and I'm going to go to our home page and make sure to refresh the site so that I see the most recent version of the site. Now I'm going to try adding in a new item. So I'm going to say item 4. I'm going to choose a file to upload from my computer. Let's just upload a thumbnail from a previous WixWiz video. And I'm going to go and click submit. Now my image file is uploading and the content has been submitted. And if we go ahead and refresh this page, then we can see that my new item has been added into the collection. And if we go and see the collection itself, right over here, open media, we should see a new item that has been added in. This item doesn't have a media gallery, but it does have an image that I uploaded. So that's one method for uploading an image to the media gallery if your media gallery is displaying multiple items from the same collection. If your media gallery is displaying multiple images inside of a media gallery field, then we're going to have a slightly different method of uploading, and I'm going to show you that right now. So let's go, for example, to one of our dynamic pages. Dynamic pages, and go right over here. And for this upload, I'm not going to need to add in a title, but I will need to add in an upload button and a submit button. So let's add those two elements here to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead, strip here. Let's make that strip larger. I'm going to go ahead and add in inside of input. I'm going to select upload buttons. So pretty much like we did before. And I'm going to also add in a regular button. And I'm just going to change it to say submit. That's only an aesthetic change. It doesn't actually change the functionality of the button. We're also going to want to add an additional data set because the dynamic data set that comes with a specific dynamic page is a read-only data set. So let's add in another data set. So I'm going to go over here to CMS and go to add content elements and add in a new data set. And this data set setup is going to be slightly different than the previous. And what we're going to do is we're still going to connect to the same media collection, but when we get here down to the dataset mode, we're going to make it read and write instead of just write. And the reason for this is because at the moment we're going to be updating an item in the collection because we already have that media gallery and we're just making changes to it as opposed to adding a completely new item to the collection. And the last thing we need to do here in order to make sure that we're updating the correct item is to add a filter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the field title of the item that we're updating should be the same as another data set. And the other data set should be the media item data set and the field title. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is we're making sure that the title of the item that we're updating has the same title as the current dynamic page item. It's important to note that this filter is good only if you have unique titles for each item. If you don't have unique titles, then you're going to need to have some field inside of your collection that is unique, except for the standard Wix ID, because that's not something that we have access to over here in terms of setting our filter. So I'm just going to click here, Add Filter on the bottom, and now our filter is added in. So what I'm going to do is just hook up our buttons here on the bottom to the new data set that we created. So I'm going to use this upload button, and I'm going to connect it to CMS, and I'm going to connect it to the media dataset. That's the new one that I just added. I should have probably changed the name to make it a little more distinct, but I didn't. And I'm going to connect it to the media gallery for that item. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the submit button in the same manner that we did before. So media, and this is going to be the click action will connect to submit, and we're going to add a success message, and we'll add a failure message as well. And then I'll go ahead and I will publish. Let me make sure. So I see here that, first of all, my section height has completely collapsed. But I also see here that the button is gray, which is not such a good indicator. So I'm just going to double check that I made the right connection. And yeah, so here it's connected to media dataset, which should be the right dataset. And now here on the live site, if I click on one of these images to go to a dynamic page, and scroll to the bottom. So here we have the new upload setup that we added in, and I'm going to choose a file, and I'm going to click submit. And now my file is uploading, and then it will hopefully upload to the media gallery as well. So let me just go and refresh this page. And here you can see the uploaded media gallery with this new image. And let me show you what this looks like in the collection itself. So if I go here into CMS, your collections media, and we take a look here at item number 1, so you can see here that we have this new image that's added into the media gallery itself. Okay, so those were two methods of how to add additional images to the media gallery depending on what method you're using of connecting that media gallery to data. So with that, we're going to wrap up this first episode in the series about media galleries. Let me just recap what we've done today. So first of all, we've shown how to add a media gallery to a Wix website and manually either remove or add images. Next, we showed how to connect that media gallery to a data set and data collection using two methods. One is to connect it to individual items of the collection, and the other is to connect it to a media gallery field within the collection. We also showed how to add dynamic pages and have our gallery on the home page route to our different dynamic pages via the gallery image links. Finally, we showed how to upload new images to the media gallery, or at least allow users to do it, using two methods. One, by adding additional items to the collection, and second, by adding additional images to the media gallery. And with that, that wraps up the no code part of this series. And in the future videos, we'll be showing how to do all of this stuff using Velo, as well as additional manipulations that we can do using code. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next videos in the series. You're also welcome to leave a comment below and let me know what other things you would like to know about media galleries, and hopefully we can include them in the series. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.